The beginning of my art love came from my father, who took me to the Rijksmuseum after church on Sundays. The main thing that I remember is my father standing in front of Rembrandt's Night Watch and being in complete awe. And he said these very words, "I don't understand why a modern person couldn't paint something as great as this in this day and age." My name is Karen Santry, and I'm a fine arts painter. I've lived at Westbeth for 33 years. I looked and I thought, what a great painting. And looked more though at my father, how he was just so in awe. He took me over and showed me a Vermeer, and it was the woman in the red hat. And he said, this also is one of the most beautiful paintings in the world. Why couldn't a modern person do this? And that's been my goal ever since. When I was in college, I naively had a show at the OK Harris Gallery in Manhattan, and I had a really cool mother. And my mom used to be in the Foreign Service, was over, in Egypt and all sorts of different places. So mom was job-oriented and all that sort of thing. She took me out of college and said, I've got to take you someplace right now. You've had a show at the OK Harris Gallery. I don't think you even know what that is. And I said, whatever you say, Mom. And she took me to Westbeth and she signed me up. She said, I want my daughter to be on the list. My earlier work started more in graduate school, and I began painting the figure in costume. That was my absolute love. Everybody had to have a costume. I was thinking probably back on Rembrandt's Night Watch. It's the difference between being able to live a sane life and produce art and not. It's a black and white situation. It's not like maybe, sort of, kind of, it'd be a nice thing to do. It makes the difference between artists who can do great work and not. It's because if they teach all the time, if they're a waiter, I did all that stuff, waitressing at Max's, Kansas City, all that stuff, you just don't have enough money for the rent. So I think we should be a little bit more competitive and say, we better help the American artists because they have a lot to say. Westbeth does this. This must happen for more people because more American artists can succeed. Who are the young people that are going to be the history? They're people that can come home, make a meal, go to their studio and work and work and work and work and work. So what you see that I'm doing now is Kabukis and the different costumes from different periods. These are as a work of art to go on display as one unit, one long unit in a corporation such as Mitsubishi. So they will all line up together. Here's a tiny story for you. My sister called me from New York and she said, David Bowie is coming to town. You would love to draw him because he's just the type of person you would like. No, well, nothing's scary. David Bowie sat next to me. I was in the front row of the limo and I didn't know who he was or what he looked like. So he said, oh, who are you, dear? And I said, I'm Karen Santry. I'm a graduate student at Penn and I'd love to paint you. And he said, oh, do you know who I am? And I said, I think I do. What was your name again? And he said, I'm David Bowie. You didn't see the show? Somebody very large like this would indicate an evil emperor. And so I gave him extra red, reddish orange day-glow eyes. One thing I need to do though is to be a better artist is I've got to get texture in his hair. So he's going to have a highlights and shine here. This is all embroidery and this takes a long, long time to do, but he's an evil emperor. So I said, no, but I love the way you look. So I went to the party with him, talked. He was very grounded, lovely. People were starting to pass Quaaludes out, and he said, don't you dare ever do drugs or alcohol. You're an artist and you have a gift. And I remembered that. I really wasn't into that, but that reinforced it. Mick Jagger, Bianca, who's an angel. I have hours of stories for you about them, but we'll go on to painting. After graduate school, Mick Jagger helped me sell all of the paintings I had done in the nightclub called Harlow's. In the Japanese Kabuki, women are not allowed to be on the stage performing. And they used to be originally. In the 15th century, it started out as women, but they were deemed as being prostitutes because they were on the stage and outside actually, and anybody could buy them drinks afterwards, etc. So it had to be transitioned over to men. So here you see, if you look very, very carefully, this hand is a little bit large. There are little secret things that give it away. David Bowie and I remained friends in Iman. David called me one day. He said, well, let me come see what you're painting. David came and he saw this painting I had my back to him, and he was sitting in a chair, and he said, "You know, love, this is the very piece that I was working with during the Ziggy Stardust and Spiders from Mars days. You know everything, that was with the very pants and everything. You know that indeed was my inspiration for my costumes during that time." Luckily, I had my back to him, because I didn't know that. I thought, what? Then I looked and I went, oh my God, there are the pants, the hair. It looks like David Bowie. There's the wig. And I turned around and tried to say, oh, I knew that, but I hadn't.